Hi, welcome back. I'm Darcy Darkness, and this is Confessions from the Dark Side. And today I have a topic called body horror. And this episode is called Shock Your Body. Why have I chosen that? Because body horror is one of those topics that, again, that some people may frown upon, may not want to talk about. But when you think about it, lots of things can be classified as body horror by the description of what body horror actually is. And before I get into it, I am going to do our disclaimer. And yes, it's only me at the moment. Again, I've explained it on another podcast. You might be hearing me, or there might be other podcasts where it's myself and Luna. It just depends on scheduling. But I didn't want to leave our community without a weekly podcast that we bring you every week. I would rather you didn't go without one. And I just thought I would record it all on my lonesome. So, the disclaimer, as you know, we are full of so much adult content. Some may think it is unnecessary. Some of you may think that this isn't needed. If you are one of those people, then thanks for checking us out, but I will say this only once. If you can't stand the heat, then get the fuck out of my kitchen. Now, for everyone else who likes what we have here, then regular scheduled programming will continue. Shall we get started? Are we ready? Yes, I'm ready. Let's go. So, body horror. Have you heard of body horror first? That's the thing. And when you're aware of this topic, what do you think of this topic? So, I don't know about you, I'm freaked out about the most common one, which is like the kind of horror type. They kind of used it in American Horror Story. Body horror in itself, I'm not freaked out about, but just certain aspects of body horror, because, like I said, a lot of things can actually be classified as body horror. Things make my skin crawl, and again, I think everybody has something that makes your brain feel weird, and that for me it is. I don't know, and makes my brain freeze, and gives me like the weirdest tingle ever. I do not want to relive the American Horror Story because it's actually one of the covers for their seasons, and that's why I haven't actually watched it, because I couldn't bring myself to actually look at it. And here's me sitting here talking about it and freaking out about it, and actually, oh, my brain hurts already. But it's a topic that has to be covered due to the fact that it's part of a subgenre within the genre of horror, and this is a horror podcast. Yes, we do delve into fantasy and sci-fi as well, but I just wanted to give you a wee tiny disclaimer, an extra one, that I have a phobia of that. I'm not the only one, lots of people do. I'm doing this even though it freaks me out, because why not? Because someone has to talk about it, and it may as well be me, the one with the weird feeling about it. Who knew I had a phobia of holes? Not all holes, may I add, but yeah, it was surprising even to me. Let's get through this together, shall we? So, to answer some of the questions from above, body horror is the fear of the unknown, apparently. We have the fear for the genre because it's taken us to a place of obscurity and the unknown, and that for some can be a mindfuck in itself. The best way of describing body horror to anyone is you will know it when you see it. Is that vague? Yeah, pretty much. So, what is body horror? Body horror is a subgenre within horror that is within another genre known as torture porn. But like many genres within horror, they kind of spiral into other genres, and then they become their own subgenres and topics, which again we have delved into a few times during the other podcasts that we have done. So what can you expect from body horror? Well, anything really, and build up of the complete destruction of the human body in many different stages, ranging from disease, viruses, infections, parasites, and decay. The ultimate transformation of one's body, even if it's not a reality or not these types of movies, use their bold dramatic stories to bring us everything to make us squirm and really get into our minds with the way they tell their story. These are incredibly common to have, many of these in a movie of body horror. The complete transformation of the human body in front of your eyes. Can you handle it? I can handle it to an extent, yes, but there's only certain things, like I said above, that actually weirds me out. The goal of body horror is to disturb its viewers in any way it can, so nothing is off the table, so to speak. Kind of gathered that. I had, of course, heard of body horror. I'm sure you have also. From the type of body horror movies we watch and enjoy, it's obvious. But do you like it? That is the question. I think it has its place. Like most topics and subgenres within horror and sci-fi and fantasy, it has its place. People write about it, people live through things, and then they write stories and they elaborate, obviously, and they blow them into the massive big screen, and your imagination will run wild, your brain will run wild. That's inevitable for something like this, but it's the fact that it sticks with you, I think, is the most creepy type feeling is that you can randomly, maybe a smell, a noise, or an image can actually give you the fear, which is what body horror actually is designed for. It's made to give you fear. It's made to make you freak the fuck out, and it's made to make you go, oh my god, do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's the feeling I get from this genre. How aware were you of the topics within this genre? Again, most horror movies, sci-fi as well, and fantasy can come under body horror. Like I said, it's from viruses, disease, infections, parasites, and decay of a total transformation of a body. So yes, technically, most horror movies will tick some, if not all, the boxes of body horror, but don't actually come under the umbrella for body horror because there's so many aspects and so many things in the movie that actually correlates with other genres and topics within horror, and that's what can be incredibly difficult. But again, people will argue to their blue in the face that body horror is its own topic and its own genre, and it is. And say we cannot expect horror as a whole not to be included in just with body horror, the subgenre. It's a whole genre in one. Well, that's how I feel anyway. Is this the genre you think that is the first step into horror, or should this be dialing it down a notch and starting with something more vanilla, if there is anything that is technically even classed as vanilla? I think when we discuss some of the movies that we actually enjoy, some people might not like them. Some people are not into like full grotesque gore and snuff and body horror, torture porn. Not everybody's into that, but there's people who do enjoy slasher movies and things like that, and they don't, or the true life psychological thriller type horror. They don't like the creepy, dark and dank and skanky part of horror that is body horror and torture porn and things like that. Everybody has their own preference. Again, body horror technically has been about for us for longer than you actually realise, and with the subjects and topics that this genre involves, it has been hundreds of years even before pictures in the big screen, or even the small screen for that matter, in life. Body horror has been all around us, in our world is full of it. And as we evolve as human beings, I am intrigued to how this genre will grow over each generation. As with all genres, we grow, we adapt, we change, and this is perfect for this genre. The ability to grow, to evolve, to transform, because that's what indeed body horror is about, is a transformation. So how has the genre evolved? Well, that little thing called film censorship, every so often this becomes less restrictive and strict depending on what country that you live in, and the things then start to shift. As with censorship ratings, some things that were socially acceptable 20 years ago or 30 years ago may not be now, and vice versa. With the evolution of civilization, we can get away with different and more creative ways in scaring our audiences, and who doesn't love a good old scare? When it happens, the adrenaline spike, the raised heart rate and the pupil dilation, woo, like woo, Ric Flair. Who knows what will be taboo in the future and what will be acceptable in this genre? The list is endless. Body horror, a lot of the time, is CGI and not real physical props. It's most likely down to the cost and time it takes to build things and create them. Even though the payoff is different, and you can tell the difference when you're watching a movie with different filming techniques and editing budgets. Some things in the simplest of ways, others not so much. But hey, they have their own subgenre, B and C movies, snuff or splatter, etc. Whatever the hell you want to classify it as, they have their own place. Would you be surprised what is actually classed as body horror? I actually, when I was doing the research for this, I was not surprised, but I think some people might be, maybe. I think you would. Anything about transformation, so there goes all your supernatural beings, transformation, evolution, and the change. Think of the movies where werewolf transformation, like American Werewolf in London, for example, that shows you a guy, basically not a human being, human guy, traveling with his mate, then he becomes a werewolf, traumatic experience, and then he starts to change, and that transformation, even though it was way back then, still scares the shit out of me because of it actually shows his body contorting. I like how like some like TV shows like Vampire Diaries, especially, and the originals as well, show you the transformation of the wolf, and each show and movie is different. Even when you see Dracula turning into a wolf, that's another transformation, and then you have Wolf with Jack Nicholson, that's another transformation. There's just so many different transformations. Same with vampires as well. It's different ways ways of people showing you how the transformation actually occurs and how it happens and how it evolves. So, like I said, vampires, werewolves, any sort of supernatural being that was once human that turns into another being can technically be classed as horror. Are these transformations pretty? No, of course they are not. And not some. Some of them look flat out torture, and that is what they're actually trying to accomplish here. They're trying to show you that turning into a werewolf isn't as easy as one would think. You don't just randomly just start howling at the moon a few days before a full moon. You would go through a transformation. Things would change. Your body would change. Sensitivity to things would change. Your body may change. But when you see a werewolf transformation, for example, you will see them changing and how their body is adapting to the changes and the evolution of the moon's cycle. The same with vampires. Some vampire movies are vampires that they always have their fangs out, or they're not retractable type thing, but they can pass as humans until they obviously feed, they attack, or whatever. The same with zombies. They get infected. They start to change. Everybody's transformation and evolution is different on the way the writer and the director and everyone involved in the movie actually wants it to be. So it just depends on who is actually creating said characters and how they want to depict the transformation anyway. And again, that can still be classed as torture porn, snuff, splatter, and body horror. So when you think their body would have to go through a dramatic pain and change, a trauma to go from human on 2 legs to transforming and evolving into a wolf using 4 legs to run, then the fur as well, where are they storing that? Then the facial transformation from human to animal, so not a pretty thing to have to go through. Some are like this once, and some wolves, like in the originals, have a curse and they are completely wolf all the time, and only a full moon they can actually be human. So it varies depending on the movie, depending on the story, depending on the lore, depending on the story as a whole. Some familiar movies that are in torture porn / body horror umbrella are movies like Rabid, Wishmaster, The Fly, The Blob, The Thing, Reanimator, Hellraiser, Human Centipede, Cabin Fever, Eraserhead, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, Videodrome, Jeepers Creepers, Alien, Slither, Tusk, Crimes of the Future, Shrivel, Stuff, Martyrs, Splinter, The Brood, Malignant, Street Trash, Slime City, Brain Damage, and Body Melt, to name a few. So there are many horror movies that cross their paths with this genre. Were you surprised of what was on the list when you take the concept of evolution of complete breakdown of the human body in many ways, meaning many more movies would hit this list? Like I said before, beings that transform, werewolves, vampires, and zombies. So body horror, year and A for you? I think it has its place. I think it has, like most topics and subgenres within horror, everybody has a place. Everybody likes something different. If we were all the same, then we'd be boring. We had nothing else to fucking talk about. And on this podcast, we tend to delve into things that other people are not wanting to talk about. And from that list, I absolutely love Reanimator. I love that movie. I actually have a special edition with the Reanimator, like the pen or the syringe with the bright kind of green or citrus looking liquid inside. I have that. I absolutely love that movie. I love Hellraiser, as you know. Again, The Thing was a remake as well. The Blob, again, transformation. The Fly, again, that was about a guy, Jeff Goldblum, basically having an experiment of travel, and he ended up getting transformed into a fly because there was a fly in the other containment unit. So when he actually moved from one place to another, the fly ended up an evolution between human and fly. So you saw the transformation of Jeff Goldblum, like his body changing in little bits, and you also saw what he actually eventually did look like at the end, and it was grotesque and fucking disturbing. And that was such a long time ago. So if they remade it now, yes, a remake, I hate them. You know that Luna hates them too. If they remade The Fly, how much would they push the torture side and the body horror for it? Because come on, we live in the 21st century here, so we can get away with a wee bit much more than we could when the original Fly film came out. Even though it comes under sci-fi, it technically still is horror because of the boxes it checks. Wishmaster, again, another transformation again. Rabid, we spoke about that a few weeks ago, about how someone ends up basically with an appendage in their armpit and it has a thirst for blood, basically. So yeah, that was after someone had an accident and they have a skin graft operation, and then that happens after recovery. Makes you never want to get a skin graft or get burned, does it? If you want to end up with a cock underneath your armpit that goes fucking mental and wants to bloody suck the life out of people, man, do you know what I mean? fine. And you've got no fucking control over it. It just literally has a mind of its own. Jeepers Creepers, again, a monster, a entity that hunts down humans for pieces that it needs to survive. And at the end of the movie, if you've not seen it, sorry, spoiler, is the song Jeepers Creepers, Where Did You Get Those Peepers? Talking about his eyes when he actually takes Derry's eyes, which is Justin Long. And then it's just like the monster removes Derry's skin and it's hanging up and he's got like a pure shock face. And then it says, the part of the song says, where'd you get those eyes? They hypnotize. And then the monster, the creeper, comes down and looks through the eye holes of the body and you see Derry's eyes, which is creepy as fuck. Alien, again, about people being infected and then the gestation of an alien species, in your body busting out. It's a parasite, basically, a parasitic entity that basically grows inside you, and when it's ready to come out, instead of coming out your mouth or your arse, for example, because that's an exit, is it not? Enter, exit, whatever, TMI, it busts out your chest and not any other orifice in your body. So that adapts you and then eventually kills you. So it needs its host to actually survive. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, again, an entity that's a parasite that actually grows inside you, changes the person, changes the human, and they're actually all connected with each other. The whole town knows who's infected and who's not. The original black and white version is by far more creepier because it's, again, a much older film, older concept that was remade in the 80s, I think, late 80s, early 90s. It did have some aspects of the original film, but again, a lot of people wouldn't have known it's a remake, but it is. The original has got Donald Sutherland in it, for fuck's sake. Such an amazing actor, and he's brilliant, and it's the whole meme of him pointing and going, oh, do you know what I mean? So that's like a big thing for that movie as well. Cabin Fever was about a flesh-eating disease. No one wants a flesh-eating disease at all whatsoever. It's basically game over because obviously flesh-eating disease literally goes through your body, it adapts, it evolves, and it eventually kills you. So if you get infected or you pass on the infection by touch or by breath or whatever like that, then you are basically adapting and evolving someone else's body, so it's body horror. And that Human Centipede, that was sick as fuck, and that was humans actually creating body horror all on its own. That film, I'm sorry, I can't get that image out my fucking head ever. I've only watched the first one and I don't even think I got through the first fucking film because it made no sense. It was fucked up and it was just like, why the fuck am I still watching this? It's like a fucking car crash. So there was that too. Tusk is weird. I think I got 10 minutes, maybe 20 minutes maybe into that film, and I was bored and I was just like, nah. So there is that. Razorhead. Videodrome is one of the most common ones as well, that when you're actually doing a search for that is again as well. But we could talk here all day. It's going to be evolution and the transformation, the breakdown of a body, which can literally mean anything. Absolutely anything in horror. So you could be watching body horror and you wouldn't even know it because you might not know what it actually is and what the meaning of body horror actually is. So you're probably watching body horror right now and you're not even aware of it. You could be thinking about body horror. Who the fuck knows? I don't know what's in your head. So, year name for you for body horror? For me, again, like I said, it's probably a yay because most things I watch actually have body horror aspects in them. What did you think of this podcast? What kind of topics do you think that we should cover next? Is there something that you think that we haven't covered enough of? Do you think we need to broaden our horizons with other things? Please let us know. If you like content like this, remember to go check us out on the Confessions from the Darkside social media platforms. We have Twitter, which is it, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Amazon Music, Spotify, and Buzzsprout. And Buzzsprout will take you to the website that will show you where you can get our podcast and our content wherever you listen to your podcast. Let us know what you think and let's get chatting about this, about all topics, all horror, sci-fi and fantasy. Let's grow our community and spread how awesome the horror community actually is. If you want to get to know us as individuals, then you can check us out on the links below. Mine are YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, Kit and Kit. Lunar's is YouTube, Twitch and Instagram. If you need to reach out to us at any point for anything that you feel, whether you want to chat, whether you want to collaborate with us, whether you want to be on the podcast, if you want to be one of our special community members, then if you want to contact us and reach out to us, you can contact us at confessionsfromthedarkside@gmail.com. My email address is behindthemasked@gmail.com, and that's spelled Bravo 3 Hotel Indigo November Delta Tango Hotel 3 Mother Alpha 5 Kilo Romeo Echo Victor Indigo Echo Whiskey Sierra @gmail.com. Lunar's is lunarxrising@gmail.com, and you can reach out to him. And I hope you really enjoyed Body Horror from me. This was Confessions from the Darkside Presents Shock Your Body, and it's been great speaking to you today, and I will see you in the next one. I am Darcy Darkness, and that was Confessions from the Darkside. Later.